Welcome back. The Trump administration has revoked a key scientific finding that has laid the foundation for U.S. action to fight climate change. The endangerment finding, issued by the Obama administration in 2009, concluded that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases endanger public health and welfare. President Trump, who for years has described climate change as a hoax, called the move the single largest deregulatory action in American history. Former President Obama criticized the repeal, writing on social media that without it, we will be less safe, less healthy, and less able to fight climate change. Also, the fossil fuel industry can make even more money. We will note, back in 2024, the Washington Post reported that at a Mar-a-Lago campaign event, then-candidate Trump told oil executives he would eliminate Biden-era regulations, keep them away permanently, and lower taxes. His ask in return? $1 billion for his campaign, saying it would be a deal compared to how much money they would make if he returned to the White House. Let's bring in MS Now medical analyst Dr. Vin Gupta. He's a pulmonologist who works closely with the health impact of environmental policies, and deal making aside, which is a whole another story. Tell us what the impact of this will be.
Mika, it's going to be broad-based. You said in the tee-up, there's no reason rooted in reality to do this, because the science and the evidence here for decades has shown us that methane and carbon dioxide, if you're exposed to them directly, if any of our audience members are exposed to them directly, they cause direct impacts to the body. Nausea, vomiting, they can cause you to pass out. But at scale, they are driving increased temperatures. The last 11 years on record, Mika, have been the hottest 11 years in the history of human civilization. We've seen air pollution now as the fourth leading risk factor for death, independent risk factor for death in the United States. 150 million people across the country live in a zip code where there's poor air quality for at least half the year. And so repealing this endangerment finding, what is it? It's basically saying, they're saying that methane and carbon dioxide, they're basically telling us to not believe what we smell into and breathe into our own lungs, what we feel on our skin for many parts of the year. 50,000, the health impacts here of repealing this finding. It's really sort of abstract here when we talk about the endangerment finding, but 50,000 premature deaths by the middle of the century. Extreme heat, Mika, is becoming more common in more places across the country, especially in the southern Great Plains, Texas, Oklahoma, Kentucky. Spread of infectious diseases will become more prevalent, on and on and on. So there's no rooting of reality here when we talk about this.
Yeah, Dr. Gupta, I mean, this seems like just a disaster for the planet, a disaster for people's health, and even an economic disaster, because the impact of climate change is going to be such that there are going to be cities that are going to become less inhabitable. There will be more disasters, extreme weather events, harder to get insurance. I mean, just go 30,000 foot for a second. Just tell people this is just a piece of the deregulation agenda from this administration to roll back climate protections. We're all going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, that's right, Jonathan. I'm glad you brought that up. The southern part of the United States, or really across the southern part of the United States, whether it's southeast or southwest, are becoming difficult to live in when it comes to water security, when it comes to just protection from heat. Heat has become one of the leading risk factors for death between May and October every single year. We're having longer spells of drought, of unrelenting heat, high daytime heat coupled with high nighttime heat. And a lot of people don't have AC. Places like Tarrant County, Texas, 70% of people do not have AC in that county, one of the hottest counties in the United States of America. That's where a lot of heat-related deaths are happening in Texas. So this is real. It's impacting real Americans. It's not abstract, and that's what's the frustrating part here for a lot of health groups that are advocating that this is wrong, trying to educate the public that this doesn't make any sense. This is something that we're seeing in emergency rooms, Jonathan, across the country, people coming in with an exacerbation of their lung disease, an exacerbation of their heart disease because of what they're getting exposed to in the environment around them.
Now, a number of lawsuits have been promised, so we'll see this play out in court in the months and years ahead. Dr. Gupta, let's turn to another health-related development this week. The FDA simply refused to review Moderna's application for its mRNA-based flu vaccine. Moderna's president, Dr. Stephen Hoge, spoke out about that decision yesterday right here on Morning Joe.
It was a bit of a shock. We thought something that everybody could agree on is we need better flu vaccines for seniors in this country. And there are a number of different ways we can try to make that happen. But one that we know we might be able to do today is better match the vaccine for the circulating strains. And that's something we were hoping to do with our product. We're pretty confused, and so we're still trying to understand, and we're seeking guidance, more guidance from the FDA. The FDA has identified no safety or even specific efficacy risk with our product.
The latest move from a vaccine skeptical administration. Dr. Gupta, Moderna's gone on to say, well, beyond the flu, which is serious enough, they may scale back their development of any mRNA medications, vaccines alike, including treatments potentially for things like cancer, which showed real promise, because if the U.S. market's not there, it's not worth it for them, they say. So speak to us about just the ramifications of this decision.
It's broad-based, Jonathan, and it's going to set us back significantly. I'll say this as a pulmonologist, that what we worry about more than anything else in hospitals across the country and intensive care units is how do we prepare for a devastating flu epidemic that could lead into a pandemic. That is what we expect if there is ever something that is, from a respiratory virus standpoint, that's going to impact society at scale, again, like COVID, it'll be a flu pandemic. And we need to have nimble vaccine platforms that can change quickly, that we can adapt quickly for circulating strains. That's the whole purpose of this mRNA platform. It's adaptable, and we can manufacture large-scale vaccines very quickly and safely. I think the irony here, too, for your audience, Jonathan, is that this platform, mRNA platform, it's become triggering for a lot of people. It's become politicized, but it's been better studied for longer periods of time. Safety has been proven far greater, frankly. We know more about the mRNA vaccine platform than we do, frankly, about the new weight loss drugs. This administration is wrapping themselves around the new weight loss drugs. Even though they're very high potential, very promising, we're still learning about their long-term impacts. We don't know their long-term impacts. Yet here, when it comes to something far better studied over decades, they're inserting politics. And so there's no conviction here, there's no consistency, and they're certainly not applying standards in science equally.
MS Now medical analyst Dr. Vin Gupta, thank you very much. As always, we appreciate your coming on.